Hey friends, Gary here. Welcome to today's video. This is an everyday photography vlog. We're going to try to take some pictures in this beautiful location here. This is Menoreh Hill in Yogyakarta, Indonesia. Such a beautiful place. I filmed a few years ago in this same location and it's always wonderful to be here. It's very green, it's very relaxing, very peaceful. I just love it so much. Anyway, today I will take some pictures, but this is a special episode because right now I brought two different camera formats with me. One is my usual micro four thirds camera, the Panasonic Lumix GX850, but the other one is actually a Sony APS-C camera, E-Mount. It's the ZV-E10 that I usually use to record video, not to take pictures. So it's going to be interesting today. We're going to try to take some pictures with both cameras and see the strengths and weaknesses of each camera. It's not about which one is the best or which one is the better camera, but today we're just going to try to enjoy using both of these tools. Anyway, in terms of lenses, I also brought with me the Olympus 12-40mm f2.8 for my Panasonic camera. I never really use it for taking pictures as well. It's my video lens. And for the Sony, I brought the Sigma 18-50mm f2.8. Very similar lens, very comparable. And also for the micro four thirds, I also brought the Panasonic Lumix 35-100mm little telephoto lens f4 to f5.6. Just for fun, we're going to try to take some pictures. Alright, let's start today's video. Alright, so for our first photograph of the day, I was thinking about capturing some of the scenery right here. It's a beautiful day. First, we're gonna start with the GX850 first. As I mentioned before, GX850 with the 12-40mm Olympus f2.8 lens. I'm going to set the camera to aperture priority, and let's set the aperture to about 5.6, and let's set the camera to auto ISO. Right, that'll make everything easy. So first, I saw that building right there. I want to try to capture it about 35mm, alright, together with the hills behind and some group of people right there working on the field, right, something like this. Very simple. That'll be our first composition of the day. I'm putting the building on the lower right part of the frame, like so. Right, beautiful. Now let's try lower left. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. Nice, beautiful. Let's try to capture the hills. I'm zoomed into about 35mm. Alright, something simple with no foreground, just as it is. We're gonna try to find some foreground later. And let's try to capture, what about that area right there? We're gonna move just a little bit. Right, looks beautiful with the leading line and the motorcycle. Nice 35mm, got the motorcycle. Beautiful. What else? What else? Yeah, let's try to capture that building again, but this time we're employing a little bit of foreground from this plant right here. Look kind of nice. Right about there. Beautiful. Yeah, this is very relaxing. Not a whole lot of people. It's not a very crowded place, especially in the morning. Let's try to capture the building again, but with the people now vertical, something like this. Beautiful. Beautiful. Alright, we're going to switch to the Sony. Alright, so I switched to the Sony right here. This is the ZV-E10 as I mentioned before, and the lens is Sigma 18-50mm f2.8. Yeah, such a nice combo. And first thing that I'm going to mention is that this combo is lighter than the GX850 with the 12-40mm Olympus lens. So yeah, I can feel it definitely on my hand, and yeah, not necessarily better, but I sometimes prefer lighter gear. So now I'm going to set the camera and the lens with the same setting as before. So f5.6, aperture priority, auto ISO. Hopefully this will make things easier. Now again, I want to try to capture that building. So this is 50mm. I'm going to do horizontal first. Let's put it on the lower left of the frame like so. And now let's do it on the lower right of the frame like so. We'll see which one is better. I'm going to try to capture the farmer. Let's do it quietly. Oh, beautiful. Yep. Okay. And then I'm going to try to capture just the hills as it is with no foreground whatsoever. Yep, beautiful. So one thing about the Sony is that it has different aspect ratio, default aspect ratio. With micro four thirds, it's 4:3 because it's 4/3, and this guy is more traditional like DSLR, so it's 3:2. So yeah, when we're going to compare the pictures later on, it's going to look slightly different, and hopefully that's understandable. Anyway, let's go to the other side like before and try to capture similar compositions with the motorcycles and stuff like that. All right, beautiful. And with this foreground from the plants like so. All right, let's do vertical as well like we did before, something like this. Beautiful. Right now we're going to do a little bit of portrait. So yeah, this is a nice kind of photography genre that we can do to compare between micro four thirds and the Sony APS-C. So yeah, currently with the GX850 again and the 12 to 40 millimeter, I'm going to set the camera to f2.8. Anyway, somebody's passing. All right. Yep, so now we set the camera to f2.8 for maximum background blur, auto ISO. And yeah, let's try to capture my wife. Right, 1, 2, 3, just like this. I want to try to include just a little bit of the leaves on the left. Right, makes for a nice texture and added elements. 1, 2, 3 again. 1, 2, 3, nice. All right, let's do horizontal. 1, 2, 3. There's somebody passing by, we're gonna wait. All right, 1, 2, 3 again. I'm gonna lower the camera just a little bit. 1, 2, 3, excellent. One more. 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to switch to the Sony camera. Alright, now I've switched to the Sony and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm setting the camera to f2.8 over here. Yep, and right away we can see we get slightly more background blur. Let's try to capture my wife. Auto ISO, everything else still the same. 1, 2, 3. Nice. We're gonna do one more time. Yeah, the camera lags a little bit every time it takes picture. Alright, now let's do vertical like we did before. 1, 2, 3, really nice. I'm going to just go lower a little bit. 1, 2, 3, really nice, beautiful. Stand back. 1, 2, 3, excellent. We're gonna wait for someone to pass because this is a public road. Alright, again. 1, 2, 3, very beautiful. And then we're gonna do horizontal but with the plant as well. 1, 2, 3. The lighting changes a little bit every time because there are clouds and things like that. 1, 2, 3. But I think it's okay. For comparison, we don't want scientifically, perfect condition. 1, 2, 3. Right, we're waiting for somebody to pass again. Alright, last one. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. Alright, I have found some foreground right here. I hope you can see on the camera this plants right here with that paddy field and the hill as well. I think it makes for a nice composition. Let's try to capture it. Now I'm going to zoom out all the way. I'm still with the Sony, so 18mm. I'm going to set the camera to about f5.6. Let's wait for the camera to respond. Right about f5.6 or maybe f8. We want more depth of field in this situation, but I'm going to focus on the scenery, right? Something like this. I hope you can see what I'm doing on the camera. All right, I'm gonna lower the camera just a little bit more, something like that. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing on the camera. Again, makes for a nice framing device. I always love that. Right, 1, 2, 3. Beautiful, beautiful. 1, 2, 3. Such a beautiful sunny day. Always love it. 1, 2, 3. Nice. All right. Let's do vertical because with vertical, I think I can really emphasize the relationship between the foreground, midground, and background. It looks more layered. I think that's what I like. Right, let's do it. Nice, beautiful. Yeah, I like the vertical one better. I don't know about adding the plants on the right. I'm just going to do it with the plants in front of me. Like so. Beautiful. Wow, the sky, the blue sky is just beautiful. Such a relaxing day. Nice. Yep, I really enjoyed this session today. Not a whole lot of crowd. Can just, enjoy the scenery. Let me take just 1 minute to enjoy the scenes with my eyes without the camera. It's just, sometimes relaxing. I need this kind of therapy, if you know what I mean. Because, living in the city is always noisy and hustling and bustling. So a change of pace like this, something relaxing and slow, it's always appreciated. Anyway, let's try to take some more pictures. 50mm, I want to try to focus on some of the workers right there, the farmers. Yeah, it's too far, but let's try. Yeah, let's try vertical again. I'm going to try to emphasize these lines. Makes for a nice leading line, and also the hill and the sky. Beautiful. The intersection between the hills looks kind of cool to me. Nice. All right, let's switch to the Panasonic. All right, I have switched to the Panasonic GX850 with the 12 to 40mm, and I want to do the same but with micro four thirds because the sensor has more depth of field. I'm going to just set the aperture to f5.6. No need to stop down further. I think this is enough. So yeah, basically I want to try to capture the same composition, but with the 12 to 40mm it goes slightly wider than the Sigma, so I'm going to zoom into about 14, which is about 18 in APS-C. So yeah, with the 4:3 aspect ratio, things will look different as well when we will compare it later, but for now I'm just going to try to take a similar composition, and hopefully that can give you a feel of the difference between APS-C and micro four thirds, and hopefully not a lot. I mean, yeah, while I'm taking the pictures, enjoying. For me, micro four thirds and APS-C both are tools. It's not about sentimental value or things like that. It's about, enjoying the camera. Which one is better for which? Each has its own strengths and weakness. So yeah, it's not that one is better than the other. Anyway, I saw some bird right there. Oh, never mind, it's gone. Anyway, this is the composition that I really prefer with the wider angle field of view, because with the vertical composition I can emphasize this particular foreground which looks cool in my opinion. Try to experiment adding the plant on the right because this has a wider kind of width compared to the 3:2 aspect ratio. Everything looks a little bit squarer on micro four thirds. Yeah, beautiful. Anyway, I'm going to zoom into 35 and follow the similar composition that we did last time, employing the leading line right here. I think it looks kind of cool. Yep, something like this. Hopefully it's similar as before so we can compare it. Yeah, the intersection of the hill looks kind of nice. Hey, let's do the horizontal one as well. I want to try to focus on that area right there. Beautiful. Beautiful. Suddenly it's cloudy, but no problem for me. We don't need the same exact condition. This is real world application. We're out in the field taking pictures. We're not in a lab setting, doing experiments like a mad scientist, This is not to find which one is the best. It's just, trying to use both and enjoy the tools that we already have. Right? Capture some more pictures. I haven't captured this composition before with the Sony. I might capture similar composition off camera. Right. Such an enjoyable day. I love it here. Anyway, I saw that farmer. I want to try to photograph him again. Let's do it slowly, silently, with the silent shutter of the GX850. What the hell, let's try to capture him with the Sony as well. 50mm. Let's go f2.8. Where's that aperture? All right, there we go. Nice. Capture him. All right. Anyway, on my Micro Four Thirds camera, I also brought the 35 to 100 mm f4 to f5.6 telephoto lens. Right here, we're gonna try to capture that farmer again. Alright, street photography with telephoto lens. Nice, yeah, f5.6 aperture priority. Gonna capture some moments of him doing work on the field. Nice. Still with the 35 to 100, I wanna capture those farmers right there. Far away, we have group of farmers standing in the middle of the field. I want to try to capture them doing work on the field. Something like this. Yep, with the hill as a background. Looks majestic, you know, sense of scale. That's important for compositions. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a telephoto lens for Sony, but I still think that telephoto, especially smaller aperture telephoto, is still better with Micro Four Thirds. You'll get smaller lens overall, more compact, more lightweight. So yeah, things like the 35 to 100 right here is the reason why Micro Four Thirds still rocks, you know, for telephoto work. Yeah, unbeatable. Let's capture that building. I'm about 70 mil right now. Something like this. Yeah, nice sense of scale, a point of interest for the whole composition. Anyway, I want to try to capture the hills right there without anything, without like foreground or things like that. A telephoto lens, it's much more forgiving in terms of composition. We have those, you know, nice contrast, textures, intersection of hills right there. We're gonna zoom into about 80 or 90 millimeter and try to capture it as it is. Very beautiful. This farmer right here, I want to try to capture him. Alright, very beautiful. We're going to try to capture some more vertical compositions. I'm going to try to include this road right here as sort of a leading line. Maybe it will work, maybe it won't. This is just a practice session. What about that area right there that we just photographed earlier? Will it work on horizontal composition? I found a farmer on the middle of the field. I think he's making a nice point of interest. Hopefully, I'm not quite sure. There's the other farmer right there. Oh, we can do vertical. With vertical, we have a little bit of the paddy field mixed for a nice, you know, layers. Beautiful. What else can we capture? Let's try to capture this bird right here on the middle of the field. I'm gonna crouch just a little bit. Please don't go. Alright, capture him before he goes. Yep. Anyway, I finished taking pictures today. I'm not going to make a conclusion which one is the better camera, which one do I like the most, and how the pictures look like. I will let you guys do that, so please comment down below which pictures you like the most. The ones from the Panasonic, the ones from the Sony, or do you like both, or do you think each has its own strengths and weaknesses? Please let me know on a comment down below. Anyway, I'm going to show the pictures side-by-side comparison of the ones that we just take so that you can better compare them. I will put some relaxing music so you can, you know, kind of enjoy the pictures while looking at them, while hearing a nice music. Let's go. And that wraps up today's video. So that is all for today's everyday photography vlog. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Hopefully it's entertaining, inspiring, makes you want to go out and take some pictures. And I will see you on the next video. And don't forget to support my channel by liking this video, sharing this video, subscribing to my channel down below. And if you want to support my work even further, consider using the affiliate links on the description below. Use the super thanks button to make a small donation to my channel, or purchase my travel photography course ebook called Simplifying Travel Photography. I will put the link down below as well. Thank you, and I will see you again. Goodbye.